What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the U-verse? Many thanks to Foothills BMW Triumph motorcycles here in Lakewood, Colorado. For today's test rides, we're going to do a little different. I'm actually partaking in one of these demo days. This is a 2016 BMW K1600GT in blue. It's just kind of a big land yacht competitor to the ZX14R concourse that you see. My man, Rider Obvious, right there, he rides the ZX14 concourse. So this is kind of the competitor to that. So eventually, we might actually get to ride. And today I'm going to do exactly what I don't like doing. I'm going to go on one of those group rides where everybody leads you around and I have to follow and behave and all that kind of stuff. But we've also got Wings and Warriors here. It's canine training for vets. Awesome, awesome organization. They do a phenomenal job helping out our vets. You got a heated seat? Turn it on. Turn it on high. Sweaty balls. Sweaty balls. Rider Obvious has sweaty balls. Alright, so going through this 2016, you do get a key fob because it's a keyless, but just like Duchess, it's got a little switchblade key, and that's used for all of these storage compartments. And this thing has storage galore. You got bags on each side. Look down here, we got a little pouch, little place to put, I don't know, that's not very deep. Definitely not going to put a gun in there, but you could probably put like some gloves or your cell phone. Oh, on this side, so we've got there's a USB and an auxiliary input, so nice. So there's a place for your phone. I don't know what that smaller one would be for, but you could definitely get your phone in there, plug in to your USB and do an auxiliary input into the built-in stereo on this. Now this unit does have heated grips. It's got cruise control. It's got electronic suspension. It's got BMW's funky front suspension. It's the reason why I signed up for this bike, because it's got the cantilever front suspension. It's not your traditional cartridge fork, dual cartridge fork. It's actually got like a double A-arm with a shock. Alrighty guys, so here we are on a 2016 K1600 GT BMW land missile spaceship. And you'll understand the spaceship when we start it up. It's a keyless, just like Duchess. Beautiful boot up sequence. You got all kinds of options, and I mean all kinds. So right now it's set up for 2-up riding, and I can't figure out how to change that. But you've got a beautiful TFT display. Scroll through the menu, and this thing's just got absolutely everything. Electronic suspension, handlebar heaters, seat heaters, you name it. You can set up audio. It's got radio built in. Now I'm 6'3", got a 34-inch inseam, and I can fairly comfortably flat foot it. It's got a very wide seat, and it is a fairly heavy bike. You can feel the weight on low speed maneuvering, that's for sure. This thing is not light. There goes FCO Steve on the speed triple. Now it is very wide down at the base, and that front fairing comes back all the way to shin level. From what I understand, the design is all about protecting the rider from the wind. Oh, pickup is smooth. It's got a lot of power. It's a very interesting bike. It's got a hydraulic clutch on it, is what I was told. I apologize, guys. I really didn't get to do a lot of research because I had no idea what bike I was going to be riding. So I just showed up and wanted to ride. It does have a gear indicator over here in the Speedo. But I do understand what Rider Obvious's friend was telling me. He said I'd absolutely love the clutch. With the hydraulic actuation on the clutch, it really is a very, very smooth clutch. It sounds mechanical when you're changing gears. It doesn't really feel it. You don't feel the click. You don't feel the clutch engaging through your fingers. But the clutch is very smooth and the pickup is very nice. Now this one does have another thing that is really cool. Look at that, electronic windshield. I think that's going to come in handy on the highway section of this ride. Let's lower it back down because these low speeds, I actually want some wind. Kind of cool the body down. It's a beautiful day for riding, if a little warm at the low speeds. Looks like it's got an odometer and a trip computer, and looks like that must be a range. So it's saying it's got 291 miles until we need gas. Really? Wow. Oh, that was a third gear start, and it was, I see what he's talking about with that hydraulic clutch. That was very smooth. I actually just did a normal clutch take-up on that, and it slips into neutral just fine, but it just pulled right away from third gear from almost a stop. I think I was doing about 5 miles an hour. Yeah, this motor spins up quick. It is odd looking for an analog. I keep looking to the digital dash for a speed display. With a digital dash, I would expect it to be integrated into that, but no, we've got analog gauges for the speedo and for the tach. You know, at speed, this thing does feel, at a little bit of speed, it feels so capable. Like most things on bikes. Well, just like most bikes, I guess I should say. But once you get that centripetal momentum going, or centrifugal momentum, is it centrifugal or centripetal? Can't remember. The rotational momentum of the tires, or of the wheels, maintaining balance. You know, pretty much every bike is decent if you've got a halfway modern chassis to them. And this one is definitely no exception. It's a very stable platform. This bike is substantially heavier than any other bike that I normally ride, and is substantially more top heavy. It's definitely something you want to be aware of when you're riding, that if this thing starts to go, it's gonna go. So you really got to be on top of it. And the seat is wonderful in typical BMW fashion. Oh, not a lot of engine braking, even down in second. Even in first, it doesn't lug. Typical BMW fashion. The seat is not firm overly. It's definitely not soft. It's long distance comfortable. And until you experience it, you don't fully understand it. People are like, oh, I like a firm seat. Nobody really likes a firm seat like on a crotch rocket. That's a firm seat. Those aren't long distance comfortable. And a lot of people say, oh, I want a soft seat. I want a squishy saddle like you know, in a gel seat and all that. Honestly, you want that in between. You want that long distance comfort. And BMW's got it dialed in with this seat. It's absolutely comfortable. So far, what I don't like, I do not like the engine sound. Let me downshift. Hear that? It's high pitch without sounding racy. It doesn't sound aggressive or mean or anything like that. It's just high pitch, which is kind of odd. It's a different sound and I don't like it. I will be honest. And I don't know what you can do with a BMW. I'm sure there's something you can do to open it up and make her sing. And this thing also has cruise control. Is it going to? Yeah. So we were maintaining 30 miles an hour. Even in third gear, we can set it. A little bit of brake, automatically disengages cruise control. That's nice. Really like that. It doesn't have auto canceling, definitely does not have self-canceling turn signals, which is really surprising on a bike with this kind of technology, that it's missing self-canceling turn signals. Or if it does self-cancel, they take a while. They take longer than I'm willing to wait, I guess I should say. I want something like that, like the Indians and the Victories. That Victory Magnum X1, see that review right here. That bike had auto canceling. I don't know how it did it. It was magic. As soon as you could turn on the turn signal a quarter of a mile before the turn, and then as soon as you made the turn, it canceled. I don't know if they've got a gyroscope in them or what, but hey, let's do a little. Oh yeah, you can feel that weight. She doesn't like bobbing and moving, but she did it. That was only at 30 miles an hour. They usually stabilize a little bit more when you get up to higher speeds, and we can get a little bit more stability for the threading of the needles. Let's see. Yeah, you can feel that front suspension working when you're doing that, absorbing all this weight. There's been a lot of discussion lately on, you know, grown-up bikes and what will you ride when you grow up kind of thing. Honestly, I see myself on something like this. I definitely don't see myself on a Harley, just because it's never matched my character. It's never matched my personality. Nothing against Harleys or Harley riders. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just not for me. But something like this, I've always thought of the BMW 1200 or GS 1200, or this thing. I could see me riding this across the country. Hell, there's a reason why people have ridden this thing around the world. Not only are they that damn reliable, but they're that damn comfortable, and they're that damn capable. The rear sets are almost directly below your hips, below the seat. So it's not a front control, it's not a rear set truly. It's a mid control in the truest sense of the word, term, blah, whatever. For me, that's the most comfortable, is a true mid. You know, for a big 1600cc engine though, it does rev very fast. It's a fast responding motor. Oh, one other key spec that I forgot to mention on this. This one is a shaft drive. And that's one of the things that I see drawing me to this bike as I get older and I eventually decide to grow up. The shaft drives are so smooth. The shaft drives are maintenance free. Just dreams. 45 miles an hour, I still don't think it's the range where we're going to see a huge difference with the windscreen being up. Actually, it moves the buffet point. So whereas at 45 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour, the buffet point was coming in right basically underneath my chin, right underneath the GoPro. And this is probably a factor, a byproduct of my height. But now I can feel it clipping the top of my head. I can feel it hitting right on the top of the helmet. There's so many buttons over on this left binnacle. I keep hitting the wrong button, and I bring up the computer. I'm afraid I'm going to turn it into, I'm going to change the language somehow to German, and I'm not going to be able to read anything. That's what the dealership's for. Now this thing also has integrated GPS mount right there. So you could put your Garmin or whichever, I can't remember, there's a BMW GPS that's an option you can put in right in there. All right, let's get a little highway action here. Roll it on. Alright, so here we are, 75 miles an hour, now cruising in 6th gear. There's with the windshield all the way up. You can definitely feel a lot of buffeting around the top of the helmet. Let's lower this sucker down and see what happens. All right, so that brings the pressure more directly onto the helmet, but it's actually more in line. I think it's a little bit more comfortable, but I am definitely getting the pressure, and I'm sure you guys can hear it in the change. So yeah, 70 miles an hour down, and here's going up. Now if I was shorter, I can't replicate shorter that well. It's still kind of, I can feel it on the top of my helmet. But I think you get more of a pocket down here. You get kind of a wind whip. Whereas standing up straight, my head's still right out in the windscreen. Or the wind stream. That speedometer is extremely optimistic. Honestly, BMW, did you need to put 170 mile per hour speedo on this bike? Because I can tell you right now, we've had it up to 85, 90 miles an hour. I wouldn't want to do extended periods of anything approaching 130 miles an hour. Oh, one other added feature. So if you're getting hot and you're not getting enough air, they've got these little flip out wings down here. And allegedly that will direct more air into you. Alrighty, so we are heading back to the dealership. Little wrap up of this bike. The electronic windshield, awesome. Very cool technology. Really like the technology because I'm a geek. 6'3" with a long torso, fully extended. It doesn't do much for me, but it's a cool concept, and I'm sure for the average American, it's really awesome. Because I can definitely see how it does change the airflow pattern around the bike. Highway stability and power delivery. I absolutely love this motor. This 1600 is a really, really good motor. Hate the exhaust sound. That. Hear that? I don't like it. That's just me. Some people may love it. Some people may not want a super loud bike, and that's cool. Fit and finish and attention to details, top notch from what I've seen, man. Everything is really, really nice. Everything fits and flows together beautifully. It's just really nice, really well built bike. Price wise, I have no idea. I honestly don't. I have no idea what this thing goes for. I would not be surprised if this is a $24,000 bike. See, low speed balance is actually really good. That was a low speed drag competition right there, boys, that I won. Did not put a foot down. The hydraulic clutch, I got to get used to it. I keep opening the throttle before the clutch is disengaging, so it would take some adaptation, but I like the hydraulic clutch. It is really smooth. What I don't like about the hydraulic clutch, it eliminates any sort of feel, and it may sound snobby, but it's real. Those of us that have ridden know you can feel through the clutch lever the engagement and disengagement of the clutch. With the hydraulic clutch lever, you get none of that. Absolutely none of it. It's just a movement, you know. It's completely isolated. But the action, super smooth. Really like it. Features are amazing. This thing is a spaceship. And from what I understand, everything on here is standard. This is what you get on a 2016. You get a seat heater or a heated seat. You get heated grips. You get the electronic windshield. You get the beautiful TFT display. You get everything. You get cruise control. You get electronic suspension. You get a very, very capable bike. I do believe the keyless ride is an option on this bike. I don't think that is standard. Now, it looks like the fog lights are an option on this thing. I don't know. Apparently that's some sort of almost like a cigarette lighter BMW style attachment, so it's like a 12 volt, but it's cool, man. Very cool. So if you guys are interested in a BMW, I highly recommend go down and check out my boys down at Foothills Triumph BMW on 14th and Wadsworth in Lakewood, Colorado. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. And as always, boys and girls of the U-verse, keep that shiny side up. You know I love you. Mountain out.